A couple of years ago, I wrote a piece about Idris Elba, just basically how I really wanted to bang him.
Yeah.
And there was this big essay in the Pantograph Punch about my review, saying that as a white woman, I was engaging in this, like, you know, I wasn't recognising the way that black men are fetishised and stuff like that, and I needed to take that into consideration.
So if it had been Jake Gyllenhaal, that would have been okay?
Yeah, well, it is, because it's a difference around, you know, there were things that it just had never occurred to me that got explained to me around, you know, like I'd made a joke about this photo that Idris Elba had shared with a mic that made it look like he had a really big dick. And I had shared it and made a comment about, you know, him having a massive dick or whatever. And they were talking about the history of how black men have been fetishized by white women and, you know, reduced to having a big dick and like jungle fever fantasies and stuff. And, you know, that can happen. And I had a lot of people really earnestly saying to me, you shouldn't have apologized and you blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I learned so much from that experience. And did it suck? Yeah. Did I cry heaps and feel awful and hate myself for a long time over it? Like,
really?
Yeah, but at the same time, I learned so much, and it's important to keep learning, and you can, when somebody calls you out, you can turn it into this thing where it's all about you, like, oh, this is so mean of you, and now I hate myself and I can't do anything right. And it's like that in itself is a really shitty response to somebody caring about you enough to say, hey, you can do better. I know you can do better than this, and this is what you need to learn. Or even just saying, you may not know this, but you know, that matters to me. And I have other times where, you know, just the other day I got I did an event and got you know, someone came up to me and said, oh, you use some really cis-centric language, which means like cisgender. And it was at a sex toy party, so we're literally talking about genitals, like it matters, the language you use. And I just was like so grateful that somebody gave a shit enough to come and talk to me about that. And it's brave. If you're like a transgender person coming up to a cisgender person and saying, hey, the way you spoke really, it hurt my feelings, that's brave. And then like, and something like that happens on Twitter and it's just like, fuck you, die, you know, and you're just like, somebody cares about you enough to try and help you be a better person. Like, stop being a fucking dick about it. Stop making it all about you.
Do you think there's a natural progression in all these conversations, which is the pendulum swing? And do you think that's like a good thing? Like people would say that the Idris Elba one, for example, that for so long black men have been fetishized, that there's now a pendulum swing the other way where I think maybe an easier way. Okay, here's a better example. It's funny talking about Alan twice.
Can I drink?
You can drink. You can drink. You can smoke. You can do.
I'm not going to upset the microphone.
We can go and raid the minibar, and you can really drink.
It's like ASMR because you can.
That's quite good, actually.
Yeah, with the ice cubes, that's ASMR. There you go.
A better example. Funny. I don't think I've ever talked about Alan on this podcast in 50 episodes, but now I'm going to do it twice in one. Is I saw a clip of Alan the other day. Again, we're going to YouTube if we're going to do it. If you were to put in Jace, probably Alan male strippers. And male strippers, male dancers were on her show up in the crowd dancing and stuff, literally picking up a woman wrapped around. And I was thinking, like, fuck, if that was James Corden and it was a female stripper and a male guy going, woo!
Oh, yes.
And I was thinking, gosh, it's interesting how the kind of pendulum swing, like,
but
society,
there's a reason for that.
Yeah, society in general goes, oh, that's just a bit of fun. And they'd go, that's filthy porn. And I wonder with a lot of these things, the transgender conversation is interesting as one. Maybe, and I don't speak to this from personal knowledge because I'm not. That at some stage when the pendulum lands in the middle, it's a very clunky way I'm trying to put it. That'll be society operating in the best it can. And that example of Alan being up here with strippers, you know, dancing and stuff.
This idea around why is it okay for Ellen to have strippers and not James Corden or whatever, this is something that comes up for me a lot. People are like, oh, how can you call yourself a feminist when you write about wanting to fuck Alexander Skarsgård? And is
that the guy from It?
No, that's Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, okay, I
But
don't know.
equally,
Okay,
I'd give him a
fair
go
enough.
too.
Not with that smile, though.
Not dressed up as that. I don't have some fucking clown fetish. But yeah, like I get all the time, oh, how can you call yourself a feminist when you objectify men? And whenever I write these things, men get very angry and send me very vicious stuff. And after the Tarzan review I did went viral, I hate that term. It sounds so wanky. But anyway, I just got screeds of hate from men who were furious that like a woman was just openly talking about sex and desire and it wasn't in service to men.
Right. It's for your own
it was,
what you wanted for your reason at your time, at your control.
And when that happened, I was really like, fuck, I need to do more of this. Like I really had this thought of women love this and men hate it. And not all men, obviously, but, you know, it really was powerful to me that actually in 2019 it's still a big deal when women talk about sex and sexuality in a way.
Was this pre-Me Too or during?
Maybe pre-ish. Yeah, or around the time of Me Too. It wasn't that long ago, a couple of years ago, but I still get people yelling out Tarzan at me in the street. Which is awkward when I'm out with my mother-in-law. And but you know, I got these men saying, oh, if I wrote this about a woman, I'd never get away with it. And it's like, yes, you fucking do. You get away with that every single day. Every day you get away with like catcalling us and being a fucking asshole and porn and brutal porn that now I can't even watch porn because I'm so afraid of my kids seeing anything, you know, like it's such a, oops, sorry. And I'm like, the whole internet is men talking about women that way. My whole inbox is men talking about me that way. And so I'm like, you do get away with it. And what you're doing isn't a celebration of women in the way I'm writing
it's
about.
Like a gratification of men.
Yes. Yeah. And when I'm writing about, I take my thirst pieces, as I call them, very seriously because they're a celebration of being a woman and having desire and again, that desire not being in service to somebody else, just for you. It's just yours. And you get to be smutty and be all the things that society tells you women aren't allowed to be.
For sure.
And so that's why I'm kind of like, that's why it's different.